Automations Cup, second game, Italy against Scotland. This one is being played over in Italy, so it's an away game for Scotland. I thought maybe, for some reason, I thought Italy had had a better run against Scotland. But in recent times, it has been pretty much all in Scotland's favour. I will go over the teams. I'll put them in the description as well. The predictions and the more recent results. See what's going on with this game. And you guys can let me know your thoughts. To be fair, the Scottish team looks to have a few more changes to it than the Italians, who've kept things relatively stable. But yeah, recent years, it's been all Scotland. 5-0. I didn't realise it was back till 2015. That's the last time the Italians got a win over Scotland, which is a long time between drinks. Recent games, 2020 was 17-0. 2019, 33-20. The closest one was 2017 over in Italy was 29-27, where Scotland kind of scraped through that one. 34-13 in 2017 in Singapore, which I had forgotten about. And then 29-0. So twice in the last 5 games, including the most recent one, but also the oldest one, Scotland has managed to nil the Italians. But the average score over those 5 games is 28-12. So pretty comfortable without being like 40 points, 30 points. So not that far off, I guess. But yeah, pretty comfortable for the Scots. They have been in pretty good form, man. Their Six Nations, whilst it didn't exactly set the world alight, they weren't in contention to win it on that last day. But that win over Wales away in pretty bad conditions maybe is indicative that the team is finally reaching some of that potential, because away wins traditionally have been the struggle. Always at Murrayfield, they've been good. For the Italians, there's still a little bit of youth in the side, but also a bit of experience as well, which is maybe a good way to do it. The lineup against the Scots this week for the Italians is pretty similar to the one that played England, to be honest. There's not many changes. Fischetti, Bigi, and Zilocchi are your front rowers. Same. No changes there. Bigi is captain. Lazzaroni and Cannone are the locks. Negri, Steyn, and Polledri the loosies. Polledri is obviously my favourite of those guys because he is just such a wrecking ball. Like, if you like stats, which I do, he's like a statistician's dream, man. He leads or is a top contender in many, many fields, despite playing for a team which traditionally does not do that well. So he's very much an overperformer. Violi and Garbisi are your 19 combo. So they have got Tommaso Allen on the bench for this one. Like in the last, I think, 2 games the Italians have played, they've gone with the 6-2 split. But they've got 3 traditional backs on the bench this week. So that means Garbisi may not have as much pressure on him, but he still gets the start. And he seems like a pretty useful young player. He's not played that much top flight football, but yeah, let's wish him well because he seems like an exciting prospect for the future. Carlo Canna still continues on at 12. Every time I see his name at 12, I'm still not sold on him, but he still does better every game than I think he is going to do. And Zanon is one of the changes. He comes in at 13. I think it was for Maurici. Bellini is on one wing, and Trulla is one of the other. I think what's his name? Jacopo. Trulla. He's like a 20-year-old Italian winger. I think he plays for Zebre. He is on debut on the right wing, so he comes in for Padovani. Minozzi is still there at fullback. So minimal changes, although on the bench, Ghiraldini is back. He's been out of the Italian side for what seems like forever, so good to see him back. Ferrari. Mbanda's still there. They've got Stephen Varney will also make his debut if he comes on. So yeah, like I said, just a regular bench this time rather than the 6 forwards. For Scotland, a few more changes. Duncan Weir's back because apparently Finn Russell and Adam Hastings are both injured. He's got quite the hairdo. That's been all over the internet, Duncan Weir's hairdo. I think he's doing it for charity, so good on him. But man, he's lacing up in the Scotland kit, which has been quite some time. Front row is pretty much the same. Sutherland and Ferguson still seem to be your top dogs at scrum time, but McAnally gets a start, and Turner is on the bench. I think they said Fraser Brown took a head knock in training. but they also said they were going to rotate anyway, so it's a planned one rather than injury enforced, even if injury did come into it. Cummings and Gray, it's Johnny, still the locks. Richie, Watson, and Blade Thompson continue on in the back row, so no like huge changes. It's mainly just McAnally in the 4-pack. Ali Price is inside Duncan Weir, as I mentioned. Duan van der Merwe comes back from the bench onto the left wing, so it's good news for him because what'll be his third cap? One from the bench and his second start. Darcy Graham's on the other wing. Sam Johnson comes in. He's at 12. Chris Harris is at 13. That means James Lang drops to the bench. I guess he's going to also cover 10. Kinghorn's on the bench. Interestingly, Hidalgo-Clyne is on the bench. I was wondering what's up with George Horn, but apparently he's got a toe injury, so that's kind of unfortunate for him. Darcy Graham. I like Darcy Graham with Duan van der Merwe, man. I just love that big man, little man thing. It seems to work pretty well. Kebble, Nell, Skinner, Hanning. As I mentioned, James Lang, Beck, Blair Kinghorn, Hidalgo-Clyne. That's the bench. So you got to like the fact that the Scots seem to have a bit of strength and depth. Some of those guys who maybe went on the American tour a couple of years ago are starting to get some minutes back into the team. Maybe it's that kind of stage in the World Cup cycle where you don't have to narrow things down. You can start to open things up again to give some more guys some time. But, anyway, we'll see how things go. In terms of the predictions, the bookies have got Scotland by 10 points. And Rugby Forecast Algorithm also have Scotland by 10 points. Remember, the average score of those last 5 games was 28 points to 12. Maybe that's one worth a flutter. I am not sure. I will think about whether I want to put a few bucks on the Scots. Every now and again, the Scots have just seemed to be reaching that potential that I mentioned, and they've tended to have a bit of a stinker. So let's hope it's not this one. But then again, I would like to see the Italians do well because they could certainly use a win as well. But if you fancy yourself a good predictor, if you don't want to put some money on the game, there is a Super Brew Pool predictions game for the Autumn Nations Cup, which I've opened. It's a free to join one. So I'll pin a comment with that one if you guys want to jump on and see if you can predict your way to be the top dog in that pool. By all means, go ahead. But you guys let me know your thoughts on this one. How do you think it is going to go? Do you think the Scots' fine form is going to continue even if they are away from home? Or do you think they are overdue for a bit of a stutter? There's been a fair few people saying the Italians are not that far away from finally getting things right. Do you think this is that game, or is it still going to be a bit of a bridge too far? But anyway, you guys let me know your thoughts. Super Brew Pool, as I mentioned in the comments, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.